Greetings, friends, and welcome back. The What's Right show, powered by Sam and Ash Injury Law, is on. Sam Rajovsky here, Nevada's favorite recovering Californian, in the saddle, and with a good friend who is joining us from Washington, Matt Brooks. Matt is the head CEO there of the RJC, the Republican Jewish Coalition. Matt, welcome to the program.
Always great, Sam. Always great. Thanks for having me.
Welcome back from Israel. You did you fly with Trump? Did you do the Blitzkrieg tour, or did you go separate so you could get some rest?
No, as you know, since you'll be with me to celebrate, I've got my 60th birthday coming up. As even the president, who's turning 80, I can't keep up with him. They had a whirlwind trip. I mean, they literally left Sunday afternoon from Andrews. Flew over throughout the night to Israel, landed in Israel, went from the airport to the Knesset, met with hostage families, met with the prime minister, had all sorts of meetings, then gave that incredible speech at the Knesset after having sit through a whole series of other speeches before it. Hours and hours and hours, got on the plane, flew to Sharm el-Sheikh, had his multinational summit meeting with all the other Arab leaders, and then flew back home. Never once checked into a hotel, 36 hours straight, nonstop. I can't keep up with that, so I flew Air Force Brooks on United, and actually was able to get some sleep. So there's that.
Very smart, very smart. So you were, though, on the ground in Parliament in the Knesset when Trump gave his speech. Now, we played snippets of it here on the program on Monday. I thought it was immensely powerful. How? What was your impression of it being there?
Well, I mean, to me, and I've been fortunate and blessed. I was there when President George W. Bush spoke at the Knesset during his term. I will tell you that throughout my political career, I've been fortunate to attend and participate in a lot of very high-profile events. Nothing to me carried with it the emotional intensity that this trip had. And for me, being with the people of Israel, being in Israel at the time, you could hear sort of the collective release of just the end of this horrific nightmare from all of the citizens of Israel. As everybody, it was like, it was like the moon landing in 1969. It's like everybody everywhere in Israel was glued to the televisions, watching. Even us at the Knesset, they had TVs out. So before Trump had arrived, we could see we could see the hostages getting in the vans and being taken out of Gaza and being reunited with their families and their friends. And it's just one of those surreal things to be there at that time, but it's a time that you'll never forget. Everybody knows where they were at the Kennedy assassination. Everybody knows where they were when they heard that Reagan was shot, the moon landing, 9/11, obviously. And this is one of those seminal events, I believe, for the people of Israel, but also I know people in the States who were up at 3 a.m. watching it riveted to the television set as the events unfolded. And to be in that room, I think that to see and hear what Trump had to say, I think it was one of the best speeches, oratorically, substantively, of his presidency, either the first term or the first year into the second term. It was still gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, I agree. So you're there. This is really the moment marking phase one of the peace deal. It's not just a ceasefire; it's a peace deal. Is it over? What's your sense of it? Is this it?
The optimist in me wants to say yes. The realist in me says that, unfortunately, Hamas is already demonstrating that they're unable and unwilling to follow through on the next phases of this. If you watch the horrific images on television, everybody accused Israel of genocide. What you're seeing in Gaza right now is Hamas committing genocide, just absolutely mass executions. And it's just a horrific bloodbath taking place. Hamas was supposed to leave Gaza disarm. The president has made him clear that that's his expectation. CENTCOM weighed in earlier today, saying that Hamas has an obligation to disarm. But the absolute barbarism of these animals over there, for the whole world to see, makes me think that there's still work to be done to clean up this mess.
Yeah, I obviously the imagery you're talking about are just murders happening in a regular basis on the streets of Gaza, and reprisals and consolidation of power by Hamas, and it's absolutely horrific. My one very specific question here is the hostages. Hamas, have they, as of today, have they turned over the bodies of the deceased hostages yet? And are you at all concerned that perhaps there are still hostages being kept alive?
I am not. I think everything that we have and all of the intelligence that has been shared with me, and again, I'm not privy to the most classified and top secret stuff, but in my conversations with senior officials, both in Israel and the United States, I think everybody is in pretty much uniform agreement that we got all the live hostages out. But again, it just shows how untrustworthy Hamas is. I believe that they have sent back the remains of seven of the dead hostages, as opposed to the 28 that they were pledged to do. And now they put out a statement earlier today saying, well, gee, we don't have the other ones. That's under rubble. We need equipment. We need to find them, which may or may not be true, but it certainly seems like a convenient excuse, to raise that now, as opposed to raising it when they, signed the agreement saying that within 72 hours they would release the live hostages and repatriate the remains of those that had been killed.
Israel has upheld its end of the agreement, I believe, fully. There have been, correct me on this, I think 1,700 prisoners and then 250 sort of, real bad guys. I don't know how that exactly breaks down. I've had a lot of people come to me and tell me, Sam, that's not really a good deal. What's your take on that prisoner exchange, the hostage for the Hamas Palestinian prisoner exchange? Was it a fair deal? Was it the right deal to make? What's your take on that?
Look, I'm not going to second guess the Israeli government on this. It is, to me, the most important thing is getting the hostages back home and getting them out and getting them back to safety and ending the long suffering nightmare that Israel has gone through for the last 2 years. It's very easy for us to Monday morning quarterback and say, if we were there, we wouldn't give back any of these terrorists. And these aren't, Sam, it's important for your listeners to realize that, these aren't traffic scofflaws. These aren't people, who were in jail because they cheated on their taxes. These are terrorist murderers and people with not just Israeli blood on their hands, but American blood on their hands, who have perpetrated terror attacks that have killed Americans and Israelis and are now being returned from Israeli jails. I'll leave it to history to decide if that's the right ratio and if that's the right thing to do. My fear, though, in this whole thing is that I hope that the people who were being released have had, some sort of reformation. I doubt it, but I also hope that, this doesn't lead to or encourage Hamas or other groups to take hostages, knowing that they could easily barter and trade for prisoners who are being held in jail.
Yeah, I think that's obviously a big concern. I heard that Team Biden, when this deal was announced, said, "Aha, but wait, that we came up with that deal. Trump is stealing our deal." I don't know if you saw this, but
I did. I did.
I almost fell out of my chair. What say you?
Oh, it was a long multi linked X post from Tony Blinken that basically congratulated Trump on accepting the Biden plan, which, as you and I both know, and your listeners who are very savvy and sophisticated know, is total malarkey. To quote a Bidenism, absolute malarkey. There was never any call in any of the Biden plans for Hamas to disarm. All of the Biden plans called for Israel to withdraw 100% from outside of Gaza. Currently, Israel still is still in 54% of Gaza as a security barrier. There's no way that Israel could have agreed to or felt comfortable signing off on the quote unquote Biden plan. And the only thing the only contribution to the Trump plan by the Biden plan is the word plan.
Well, I mean, just speaking as an attorney, and I said this yesterday on the show, everybody has an idea of what they want in a negotiation, but the right guy gets it done, right? I have, you could go to a lawyer and say, hey, I want to get divorced, or I want to get $1 million from the other party, whatever it is, right? And the idea or the desired result is straightforward. Getting your opponent, to come to the table, and in Trump's case, getting two sides that are in wildly different places to come to the table and to come to an agreement and make it and execute on it. That's a whole nother thing. So I laughed out loud when I saw that, and I'm sure you did as well. Quick question before we come to break, just a short answer on this. Do you trust Qatar, Egypt? I know these are different countries, right? Some of these Arab League states that have, because a big part of getting this deal done, the so-called Biden plan, getting this deal done has been to enlist Arab countries, Jordan, Saudi Arabia. Do you trust these players? I'm maybe specifically asking about Qatar to pressure Hamas and keep this deal, the Trump deal, on track.
I do, and it's part of a broader answer that I was going to say earlier. The reason that this deal got done was for one reason and one reason only, and that was Donald Trump. There is no way that Joe Biden, with all his formulations and all his plans, and could have gotten this done. And the reason that Donald Trump was able to get it done is because he is, number one, a master negotiator. Two, he came to this negotiation with all the cards. I will tell you that the single most important thing in terms of bringing this to a resolution was Donald Trump's willingness to take out the Iranian nuclear capabilities. Once the Arab world saw that Donald Trump means what he says and says what he means, and that he is personally invested in bringing peace to the Middle East, ending the threats from Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran, the Houthis, and has used American power and deployed it to achieve those ends. That's why I believe that Qatar, that's why I believe Turkey, that's why I believe Egypt, and all these countries in the Gulf will abide by it, because they not only fear Donald Trump, which is in the Middle East, by the way, fear and strength is the coin of the realm. That's if people don't fear you or feel that you are strong, then bad things happen. And right now, they know not to get crossways with President Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the right assessment, and I appreciate you sharing that. Matt, if you would, stay with us through the break. We'll have a short segment here coming up, but I would just want your thoughts on the rise of anti-Semitism, both from the left and on the right, and also our friend Charlie Kirk. I just want to get your quick thoughts on it. There's a lot swirling right now with what was Charlie thinking, in the days and weeks before his assassination, and some carnies coming out who are trying to make hay of it. And I know you have some thoughts on this. If you wouldn't mind sharing those, we'd be very grateful. Sam Mirjovsky here, News Talk 840 KXNT, the What's Right Media Network. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go anywhere. Making radio great again. Sam Mirjovsky here. The What's Right show is on. Great to be with you folks. We've got on the line our good friend Matt Brooks, coming to us live from D.C. Matt, thank you for being with us. Matt is the CEO of the Republican Jewish Coalition, was just telling us about traveling out to Israel, being there at the Knesset when Trump gave his incredible speech and outlining the deal to end the Gazan war. So that was all very interesting. Now, Matt, I asked you right before the break about the rise of anti-Semitism, certainly on the left, rampant. And then I'm also seeing it, unfortunately, on the right, although to a much lesser extent. And I guess by extension, too, I think in that conversation is a question about what do you make of this, all this controversy that I think's being, my opinion, is being ginned up by some malevolent actors who are trying to take Charlie Kirk's legacy and somehow make it seem that Charlie was calling into question his support of Israel. And so I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? I know you knew him and
Yeah.
had communicated with him before his assassination.
Yeah, it's there's a lot to unpack there, and it's really sort of sobering on many levels. The times we live in, and sadly, you are right in that we are seeing unprecedented anti-Semitism in America in a way that I never thought in my lifetime. I thought we had that chapter of our history behind us, and clearly that door is opened up again, and the scourge of anti-Semitism is festering and oozing out, as you say, both from the right and the left. It is my job and part of my responsibility in sitting in the chair that I do as the CEO of the Republican Jewish Coalition to ensure that we push back and fight the rise of anti-Semitism on the right wherever it rears its ugly head. And so, if that means that we have to go after Republican Congresspeople like Marjorie Taylor Greene who are trafficking in this kind of garbage, we will do that and do what it takes to hopefully retire her. The same thing with Tucker Carlson, the same thing with Candace Owens. We will speak up, speak out, and make clear that in no way is that representative of the mainstream of the Republican Party. But it's just sad. Today we saw the release in New York of a group text chain with a group of in the New York Post, I should say, a text chain of the young Republicans from across the country, and just the disgusting, indefensible, abhorrent anti-Semitism and racism from kids today that were on this text chain who should know better and whose parents should have taught them better. To me, underscores, and this is the segue I wanted to get to, underscores why the mission of Charlie Kirk was and hopefully will continue to be so vital, because we need to wage a war for the hearts and minds of the next generation in this country. You're right. I have known Charlie a long time. He has spoken, for years and years and years at Republican Jewish Coalition events around the country. I was texting with him right before his assassination. He was going to come speak at our big annual Vegas conference, the Vegas Summit, which will be the last week of October, Halloween weekend, October 31st to November 2nd. If any of your listeners want to join us, it is a star-studded, literally the entire leadership of the Republican Party. Sam, you've been there. You can attest to how important this event is. If any of your listeners want to join us, rjchq.org, come visit our website and register. But yeah, Charlie was going to come out and participate and talk about why it's important to remain pro-Israel, why it's important to combat and stand up and push back on those who are trafficking on anti-Semitism within our party.
And was your impression? I mean, since you and I know this, and I never shared this on air, so you're revealing it here. But I know you were in communication with Charlie very shortly before he passed.
Yeah.
Your impression that he was, you're hearing these reports of people purporting to claim or say that he had been somehow losing his faith in Israel, or had started to distance himself from supporting Israel. What do you make of that?
I think it's total garbage, and I think you're right. I think there's malign and malicious actors out there that are trying to use the tragedy of this event to promote their own particular point of view. As you know, in the legal field, res ipsa loquitur, right? I think it would be very highly unlikely that if Charlie Kirk had anti-Israel views, that he would want to come and participate at the Republican Jewish Coalition Summit.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely right. Matt, I'm going to be there. I'm going to participate. Hopefully, we can do the show from a dark corner of a back hallway. And so, if any of you folks want to come out and join that, what's the website again? Give that to us one more time.
rjchq.org.
Wonderful. All right, beautiful, Matt. Thank you. I'll
Thank
see
you,
you in
Sam.
DC later in the week. And I appreciate so much for you sharing so much of your time here for the What's Right show audience. Appreciate you, my friend.
Love you, brother.